Okay, today I wanted to take a moment and talk to you about something that I created a few years back. I'd say a couple years back. And I was listening to an audio CD, and the audio CD was wonderful, and it caused all these things to pop in my head, and I call this the box. And are you in it? And the fact of the matter is most of us are in it. We just don't want to admit it. It's just something, if you recognize that you're in the box, you can actually get out of the box. And I created this for myself as a reminder. So I'm going to maybe help you remind yourself that you can get out of the box as well. So I'm rambling, but let's get back to the core issue. See, when we grew up as kids, for lack of the better word, we subconsciously were given things from our parents. Now, our parents did the best they could, but they took what they learned from their parents, and little by little by little, it gets instilled upon us, right? And what their best knowledge is at that point in time is what they passed on to us. And let me give you an example for us to start talking about the box. And the best way I can do this is just use a whiteboard, because I can walk you through it. So let's talk about this. What have you heard? I've heard the same thing. Hey, Todd, you got to go to college. Why? Well, if you go to college, you get to have a good job, right? Have you heard that one? I've heard that one too. So basically, when you go to college, you're going to get a good job, and you're going to work how many hours? 40 hours a week. Why? Well, Todd, you want to retire someday, right? Well, yeah. Well, if you do this 40 hours a week for basically 40 plus years of your life, you get to retire on 40% of your pay. That doesn't seem right, but that's what they were used to. See, in 2018 and further in the future, this math model just doesn't work any longer. But that's what they were taught. That's what was imposed upon us. So then what happens? Well, you have the possibility of getting laid off. It's scary, because then if you get laid off, what are you going to do? I don't know. I might have to take unemployment. So there's security in the box, right? Which would be your unemployment. That was created by what? The government. Interesting concept. So in the hope in this box that you work all these hours, so what? Maybe, just maybe, you could have one vacation a year and have good Christmas, right? That you can actually maybe buy some Christmas presents. And you're gonna have what? Security and benefits. So you have your health care. Are these all the things that you've been told? Because these are all the things I was told. I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a good job, I'm going to work 40 hours a week, to retire in 40 years, to possibly retire on 40% of what I made in those 40 years. I have the possibility of getting laid off, but that's okay, because I have the security of unemployment. And I might be able to take a vacation a year if I save and I work really hard. And I might be able to have a great Christmas, but don't worry, I have security and benefits. This is where the box forms. And so you think these things will get you over here, which is dreams for your life. You have dreams. You want to travel the world. You watch all those, commercials, and you can go to these great beaches and maybe buy an airplane and do all that. You can spend time with your family whenever you want, because when you retire, you get that option, because you'll finally have freedom, right? Because you'll get the money coming in from your retirement settlement. You could have, basically, maybe that leads me into maybe some financial freedom. These are all great things. And then, you might have, if you have time and you go to church and you think you might be able to go on a missions trip or have a global impact because you want to give back. These are all the things you're doing over here to get to do the dreams of your life. Maybe do a God-inspired dream, speaking of that. So maybe you want to do a God-inspired dream. And if you do really well in this world, you'll get to live this world, your dream world. That's like a dream cloud. And I think this is what most of us, there's other things that you could put in there. You might want to have a really nice car, you might want to have a nice house, you might, but travel in the world, most of us all want to do. This is kind of like an out-of-the-box dream world, right? But what happens is that you think that this will equal this, because that's what we were told. This is what we were trained to do. But see, what happens is we start getting separated, and walls start forming give you an idea. So to get from here to here, maybe a wall forms, and that wall that separates us here gets real. Maybe that wall is when you explain your dream with others, maybe you open yourself up and you can't make that leap because the wall of criticism of others forms. Ooh, puts a block up, because if you explain these things with the people you work with, that you want to go do these things, they might have an opinion on what you want to do. So that wall goes up that you can't make it over there. But Todd, that's just a wall. I can get over the wall. Oh, well, maybe you need a lid. See, the lid comes on top, and that lid looks like this. Fear. See, the lid of fear pops up. So you could get a running jump at this, but then it's like if I try to do these things, Todd, I won't have my security and my benefits. I won't be able to do that. I might lose those, you know, and I need to spend time with my family, but I have to work. They just did a new job placement thing with me. They gave me more responsibilities. I'm working 55 hours a week now. I really don't have time to do that. Maybe next time. So then all of a sudden something pops up and you're like, you go tell your parents, hey, I think I found my way out. Your family, your relations, and a back wall forms. And like, whoa, wait a second. I need to remind you something. You have security. That's I think security is a word that just robs us. It's safe in the box. What do you mean? This wall forms where it's now all of this is security. This is not security. This idea for dreams for your life and the things you want to do, and this isn't security, Todd. That's pie in the sky thinking. You have security over here. You need to focus. So a few more years go down, you know, you're sitting there doing the same thing every single year, and you're like, I think I found my way out. So you're going to start digging underneath the box. But another wall forms. This wall goes across the bottom, and this one's kind of important, because this wall that's at the bottom that you're trying to dig through, this is the past lies you told yourself. Okay, so what I mean by that is that you tried a couple things to get out of the box, right? Through the course of time, it's now been 15, 20 years, you've tried some things and they didn't work so well, because when you tried them, the criticism of others, you know, came down upon you and you're like, yeah, I shouldn't try that. I'm going to go back to working. Or you got fearful. And so what happened is that you were trying this business idea or something and you got fearful that you weren't going to make it and you wouldn't have the security. So the fear crept in. So what's on this right here, this box line, is past lies you've told yourself. And unfortunately, these are the walls we've placed upon ourselves to be in the box. Now, it is no fault of our parents, it's no fault of our friends, it is just because we have all had past things that were given to us, and unfortunately we read into them. We just think that this will allow us to go here, but honestly, they don't equal. And that's an unfortunate thing. So, but you're saying, Todd, you're really depressing me right now. This is depressing. And so what I had to do was I had to go back from the start. I had to really think through how this happens for all of us, right? So what I did was I came up with a question. Who puts us in the box? Who does that? I mean, the people that are doing it are coworkers, subjectively, because they want to go here too, but they're stuck in this pattern. So therefore, when you try to, they just say, no, it won't work. Just stay here. It's just safer. Who else? Our parents, because they've tried to get out of the box, but through the course of time, they just realized the criticism of others, the past lies, the security, and the fear, those were just too much to try to get over. So therefore, I'm just going to stay where I am because it's just easier. The last thing is I know it seems kind of weird, but we have to own some of our own stuff. It is us. We do it. It's our feelings of our past failures. So there is a feeling associated of trying to get out and failing, and trying to get out and failing. And then at some point, our feeling is that it's hopeless and we'll just never get out. So who put us in this box are the people that love us, the people that are in our life every day, the people in our church friends might put us in the box, the people that you know, your family, all those that when you tell them your goal and idea and your dream, they're like, oh, Todd, if you try that, just remember, you know, you're gonna lose your benefits. You won't have healthcare coverage. Here's another thing. Why? Why do they put us in the box? That's a great question. So who? Here's the why. Well, most people are putting us in the box because they just don't want us to get hurt. They're doing it, quote unquote, out of love. I mean, I don't want my children to get hurt. I don't want them to fail. I don't want them to go through those trials and tribulations. I don't want them to have the criticism of others. You know, I want them to overcome their fears, but they just can't. They can't deal with their insecurities, so the insecurities of others, they're trying to impose their insecurities on you because they just have tried themselves maybe a couple times and it just didn't work. They also use something that is made in good intentions, but it really isn't. When somebody says, hey, I'm just trying to help you, it's made in an intention to say, look, my life experiences, I'm going to tell you from my life experiences, I'm just going to help you out here right now, and that I just won't work. You're just going to have to just stay the line. You're just going to have to stay in the box because I'm just telling you, the formula probably work. You're going to have money that you can maybe pay Christmas, but most of the time can't pay for the Christmas because you're going to use your credit cards, and then what? You're going to have to make your monthly payments on your credit cards, and so that makes you stuck at your quote-unquote good job that you didn't have enough money to pay for your Christmas present. See, a lot of us value those things, and so we put value because you're raising children, you're raising families, or so Todd, it's just depressing. So you got to give me something. So how do we get out of the box? Right here. I go through all this to say, are you recognizing any of these qualities in yourself right now? Are you looking at this list over here and say, man, Todd, you're speaking to me. These are things that I've always wanted to do. I feel God had a dream put on my heart. I want to take care of that. I've always wanted to travel the world. I wanted to spend time with my family. And to do that, I have to have some sort of financial security and all this stuff over here, but you're stuck over here. And you recognize that the parents that put you there because of their past limiting beliefs did that. Your coworker said, hey, Todd, here's the thing. I tried that. It just doesn't work. You need to stay where you are. They're not doing it. The why they're doing is they just don't want you to get hurt. They're trying to help you. They don't want you to go through the fear of rejection. They don't want you to feel those fears of rejection and criticism of others. So if this is true, if these are all equaling out, how do you get out? And this is the biggest one of all. It's a decision. And you're like, that's dumb. Is it? And I'll explain. A decision is made when you are just at your wit's end. And these are the people that you look at and it's like, wow, Todd, man, I remember about 5 years ago, he didn't do any vacations. He didn't hang with his family much. He was always working. And now all I see him is in Greece, and he's in Italy, and he's flying to Cancun and doing drone shots. He never did video stuff. What is this guy doing? It was a decision I made. I made a decision. I made it. Now I get it. I still have these in the box tendencies, the security, the benefits. My wife still does too. The thing is though I am making a conscious decision to try to live out the dreams of my life before I can't live them out anymore. I'm 48. If you're watching this and you're in your 20s, you've got time. You've got time, but the quicker you recognize these two things, the faster that you can create and do something different, because the world's changing. You know, when I grew up and I tried to impart these in my children, they're seeing the world completely different with internet and all the different social platforms. You are your own brand now. You can go out and do their own things. It's a decision now that you need to get out. And you're like, great, Todd. All right, I'm going to decide. I mean, if people are a little overweight like myself and I'm going to finally decide I'm going to cut back eating sugar and stuff, a decision is, there's one that's kind of a decision and then there's an all-in decision. An all-in decision is I change my lifestyle and I go for it, and I don't worry about the criticism of others. I don't care about the past lies I've told myself because I'm creating something different. I'm overcoming a fear, the fear of I don't know what to eat and I don't know how to exercise. Those are all fears and lies. And then over here, I'm leaving the security that I'm used to, sitting on the couch and eating you know, whatever I want. Ice cream before bed, bad decision. So it's a decision to get out of the box, right? Now, how? You're not telling me how. Well, here's the how. We must find a mentor, a person that has gone before you and created this world. You have to find that person that has financial freedom and you respect them and you feel that they did it in an integrity type of way that you respect. You have to find that person that maybe if you're trying to lose weight or do that type of world that broke through their cycle. You have to find the mentor. Then you have to humble yourself and you have to ask them, hey, how? And you have to follow them. And so you have to listen to the mentor. If you're not willing to, if you make the decision and you find a mentor and that mentor says, look, here's the thing, you need to do this, this, and this. If you are not willing to listen to the mentor, the person that went before you that has the goals and dreams that you want, then he is not a mentor, or she is not a mentor. That is a wish. That is not a decision. So when that mentor looks at you after telling you to do something 4 and 5 times and say, you're not going to do it, I'm done with you, that puts you back in the box because it falls under to the past lies you told yourself. And the past lie was you thought you made a decision. And this is where a lot of us have gotten stuck. See, we've met somebody that has the lifestyle we want. We try to follow them, but we weren't really all in our decision. So when the mentor told us, hey, you need to show some people, or hey, you need to do these quality things, or hey, you need to do some self-improvement, or hey, I see these things that you're lacking, you need to work on this, we're going to put a time frame and you're not willing to do them, then you're like, that mentor doesn't know what he's talking about. And you start past lies to yourself and you go back into the box because you're looking for another 40-hour-a-year job that you can get 10% raises and hopefully be able to maybe live out something. That's a hope. So that leads me to the next thing. You have to work on yourself. And I mean this because this is the most important in my opinion, and it's called forgiveness. So here's the thing. You have to forgive yourself for the past mistakes that you have made. You're carrying them around for too long. I'm just as guilty as you. This message is for me as much for you, and I have to work on this daily. You have to forgive yourself for your past mistakes, and you need to move on. Because you're hanging on to the past mistakes of your life, thinking that today is a representation of yesterday, and it is true that it is. You've made your bed and you have to lie in it. But the fact is that it does not represent what your future looks like. If you truly have to find a way, whether that is through counseling, whether that is talking to and confronting a friend or a family member or your parents, or whatever that is holding you down, you have to forgive you. You cannot own the ownership of what they may feel or what has happened, but you have to forgive yourself. Think about that, because I think that right there is the main limiting belief that a lot of us have. We can't forgive ourselves from the past failures, so therefore we don't get to live these dreams. And it's unfortunate, it's just lies. It's all compounded lies over years and years and years. You have to confront those lies to forgive yourself. And here's the last thing. Once you've done this, you have to become passionate. You have to go all in, and you do not quit. You don't quit. And I'll give you an example. It was about 9 years ago. I wanted to take my family on a vacation. And I was doing all of these things, but I never got to go on any trips and build memories with them. So I made a decision to find something to change the direction of our life, and we found it. And for 9 years, we've been able to travel around the world. I've been able to take my children on trips. Am I wealthy? No. Am I the richest person in the world? No. But I've got to live out a majority of these things. God-inspired dreams. I've had a global impact. I've had some financial freedom. I'm almost there. I got to spend time with my family, which I do now. I've got to travel the world, and I have many dreams, including making videos for people to inspire people, and that's what I'm doing right now. I have many dreams to be able to do that. This is the box. This is what was in my head. I don't know where it came from. I'm probably not that smart of an individual. I'm just saying that I think this message, the box, might help many of you right there. These 3 core things, the who, the why, and the how to get out. If you recognize that you're these, and you recognize these things that you want to do, you have to go through this. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know if you're going to try to reach out to me and think I'm some sort of mentor. I don't ever qualify myself as a mentor. I'm just qualifying myself as a person to inspire others to search for that. Everything that you see here are the limitations. The limitations are the walls that you place around yourself. The limitations are meant to break through. They are not to be there for all eternity, for your whole life. The biggest thing that you could really look back on when you get older and sitting in a retirement home is regret. Do not regret the life that you've been given, because you have been created uniquely different than everyone else that's ever come before and everyone else that's going to come after. You have been created different. The bad part of all this is it's all self-inflicted. Make a choice. Are you in the box? Do you have these dreams? Are you working through and recognizing, just by simply recognize them, looking through this and through a different lens, that the people that are holding you back are not doing it to hate you or put you down. They're doing it out of love because of their past limiting beliefs. If they're looking to do this out of love, you have to recognize that that's their love, but that you don't have to own that decision. All right, I'm done. I could ramble on forever about this, but this is called The Box, and I appreciate you for tuning in, and I hope this inspired someone today. I'm sorry it was kind of dry, but sometimes you need something kind of dry to drive home a message. So take care, God bless, and dare to dream.